What is going on, guys? Welcome back. In today's video we're going to learn about Chocolatey, which is a package manager for Windows. So let us get right into it.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
Alright, so we're going to talk about Chocolatey today, which is a package manager for Windows. And those of you who are using Linux on a regular basis, either natively or as the Windows subsystem for Linux, know how convenient it can be to have a package manager that you can use in the command line to easily install software, to easily install packages from a reliable source instead of having to go to the website of the software of the company and to look for the installer that fits your system, to then download it, to extract it and stuff like that, everything manually. It's quite convenient to have such a package manager. So let me just show you an example here on Linux, in the Windows subsystem for Linux. For those of you who are not familiar, if you're running Ubuntu, you can just say sudo apt install and then a package name. So for example, neovim, for example, htop for command line tools, or you can also, if you have a graphical user interface, install Firefox or GIMP. And of course, you can look up packages. So this is quite convenient if you have, at least for well-known pieces of software, you have such a package manager that you can just provide, where you can just provide the package name and then it downloads it and installs it automatically. And this also exists for Windows. It's called Chocolatey. And today I want to show you how this works. I want to show you what we can do with it because it is quite useful and quite convenient. Sometimes we can even install tools that are not meant to be for Windows, for example, the make tool or neovim or stuff like that, which are more Linux focused traditionally. We can also install them on Windows using Chocolatey. So in order to install it, we click on this Get Started button at chocolatey.org and we get the installation instructions. Now, they're not too complicated, but they might be a little bit confusing because you have to use PowerShell and it's not just downloading something, executing it, and that's it. You have to set certain policies, you have to then execute the commands, but it's actually quite simple. So what we need to do first is we need to open up the PowerShell and we need to do that with administrator privileges. So right click, run as administrator, yes, and then you get this not so good looking command line here. And in there, we need to first check what the execution policy is at the moment. So we're going to copy that command here from the instruction website, and didn't I copy it? There you go. And you're going to see it's restricted, at least in my case, in your case maybe not. If it returns restricted, it says here to set the execution policy either to all signed or to set it to bypass for the scope of this process. So we can just go ahead and actually, I copied again the wrong thing. I think it cannot copy with right click here. So let me just, there you go. You set it to bypass, you say yes, and then you can run the command again. You can see it's now to bypass, set to bypass, and then you can run this command which actually installs Chocolatey. So we can just copy here. Hopefully this works now, and we can just run this. Now in my case it's installed already, so I'm not going to run this here, but this installs Chocolatey, and once we have that, that's basically it. That is the installation. We just need to set the right policy, and then we need to run this command here, which installs Chocolatey. That's the whole science behind it. Now, once we have that, we can use it in the ordinary command line. So I can just open up CMD and I can say Choco, and you're going to see that it runs Chocolatey here. Now, one thing that's important is if you want to install anything, you need to run this with administrator privileges. So you need to actually go ahead and either run CMD directly, or in my case, I'm running the terminal app. Just right click, run as administrator, yes, and there you go. So now I can do it. Now I can run Choco install to install new packages. And this is something that we can do now. If you have just installed it, you're probably not going to have any fancy packages, but if you want to see the packages that you already have installed, you can go ahead and say Choco list. And Choco list, actually we need to say Choco list -- local only to see only the installed packages. This is going to show me all the packages that I have installed on my system here using Chocolatey. And now we can go ahead, for example, and say Choco install and a package that we're interested in. Now, I have a couple of things here installed. Neovim, I have Vim, I have Make, I have Fuzzy Finder. You can just pick a package that you want to install, for example, Neovim, or just Vim. Then Choco install Vim, in my case, already installed. And then once you have this installed, you can just type Vim. Let me just navigate to the desktop here. Vim test.txt. and I can use Vim now on Windows in CMD. So I can just say hello world, quit, and then I can see that I have test.txt here. So I can just install the tools easily with Choco without having to care about specific compatibility issues, especially when I use stuff like Make or Vim, which are usually used on Linux. I don't have to worry about this. I can just say Choco install Vim, and then I have Vim running on my system. So that's quite convenient. I can also uninstall packages. So I can say Choco uninstall Vim. Then I can say yes. It's going to uninstall everything related to Vim here. Let me just say A for all so that it doesn't ask me for every single thing. Then it's going to remove Vim, and then I can install it again, right? So we can just install and uninstall packages. That's quite simple. So now if I go Choco list local only, I shouldn't have Vim anymore here. I don't. That's good. And now I can say again Choco install Vim. Now I think I need to accept some licenses. There you go. Let's go with A again for all, accept all. Then it's going to do all of the installation, as you can see here. So I don't have to do anything. I just have to accept, and that's it. And now I have them installed again. That's how simple it is. By the way, if you want to list the packages with a different command, you can also say clist-l for local, and you get the same output here. Now, if you want to find a package, you don't know about a package, but you want to see if it exists, you can just go and say Choco find, and then, for example, I don't know, let's go with Vim. So Choco find Vim will give me a bunch of things that I can look at. So, for example, here Vim, Vim tux, and stuff like that. And I think it should also be able to, I'm not sure about this one, but maybe if I say Choco find GIMP, yeah, GIMP, there you go. I can also install GIMP via Chocolatey, sorry. One thing that I can also do here, and I think it's not going to show anything, I can also update outdated packages. So I can say Choco outdated, and at least yesterday it showed to me that ng-rock was outdated, but I then updated it, so it's not showing it anymore. But if some package is outdated because there's a newer version, you can just see it with Choco outdated, and then you can say Choco and then install, sorry, not install, upgrade and package name. So for example, ng-rock was one that I had to upgrade yesterday. There you go. In this case, I think it says that it doesn't say it, but it's already up to date, so it doesn't do anything. Otherwise, it would uninstall and install the newer version. And of course, we can also specify a specific version. So if I want to say, for example, Choco install, I want to install Node.js. What I can do is I can say -- version, and I want to have a specific version. I want to have 10.2, for example, or even 10.2 point something. But I can just say that, and it's going to install Node.js with that specific version. Now, for some tools, it doesn't make sense to be able to install them. For example, I don't think that you can install, and I'm going to say no here so that I can abort this process. But for some tools, it just doesn't make sense to use them on Windows. So for example, htop is not available as far as I know. So if I say Choco find htop, I don't think that htop is available, but I think we have something similar. It has ntop portable, which is the one that I mean. So we can use ntop, which is similar to htop. If you're too cool for using Task Manager, you can use that. But it allows you actually to use a lot of those Linux tools. So for example, Make, I had a video recently where I had to use Make. I think it was the Make files in Python tutorial. Then also you can use stuff like Fuzzy Finder. So I can just say Fuzzy Finder here, and then I can look through my files here. So for example, I can say Python or something. There you go. And I can look up these things here. So I can use these Linux command line tools when I install them via Chocolatey. Now, let's see, do I have maybe Choco find GCC or something? I'm not sure if this also works for compilers, but maybe. I don't know if that's the correct one. Do we have G++? Okay, I don't know about that, but it definitely makes it easy to install tools. And you can even, as I said, install basic tools. So if you don't want to download Firefox from the Firefox website, you can just probably say, I'm just assuming now, that you can say Choco find Firefox, and then you're going to see that you can also install Firefox. There you go. You can install Firefox here with the package manager. And this is quite convenient. You can trust the sources and you don't have to worry about compatibility. You just say Choco install, bam, it's installed. And that's quite useful. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and hope you learned something. If so, let me know by hitting a like button and leaving a comment in the comment section down below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell to not miss a single future video for free. Other than that, thank you much for watching. See you in the next video and bye.